question really is what happens next? Yes, there is heavy security deployment. Yes, Article 355 has been imposed. What happens next?
Well, I think, the biggest challenge for the government would be to restore the faith in the policing, which is to restore the balance and make sure that all these sporadic incident of violence which is taking place throughout Manipur should come to a complete halt. Post 24 hours or 48 hours post that, as state will limp back to normalcy, I think the biggest challenge for the state government and the center would be to bring the warring faction on a table, or at least make sure that there is some makeshift arrangement so that peace can return to the place. What we see is that, we are always awed by the visuals of burning buses and shots being fired and all. But the real unspoken tragedies which never gets accounted is the people, those, who are migrating to Assam, who are migrating to other states and all. For them, it's going to be very, very hard to come back to their old life and, to live like normal person once again. I mean, to go there, leaving everything behind, to come back, then again start your life. That is the one unspeakable tragedy who will be the real sufferers of this, what is happening in Manipur. The tragic point is, as we always see, is that the kind of politics which gets played, because there's election in state called Karnataka. So what is happening is that, we are seeing a lot of back and forth. The Home Minister was supposed to visit Karnataka today for rallies. He cancelled all his engagements and he's speaking, to all the concerned departments, and he's also, 355 has been imposed. But like Congress is attacking the BJP, Aam Aadmi Party National Convener and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has also hit out at the BJP. There's a tweet which just came out like 1.5 minutes back, 2 minutes back. They said that, ये कहते थे कि आम आदमी पार्टी से बॉर्डर स्टेट नहीं संभलेगी, हमने तो पंजाब संभाल लिया, लेकिन इनसे बॉर्डर स्टेट मणिपुर नहीं संभल रहा। जब मणिपुर में आग लगी हुई है तो ये कर्नाटक में चुनावी रैलियां कर रहे हैं। Basically, they are trying to pay back of what the kind of criticism, Aam Aadmi Party had to endure when this entire Amritpal episode was being worked out, and how many believe that, worse situations of black days are ahead as far as Punjab is concerned. So I think, it's a very, very tricky situation of what is unfolding in Manipur, and I think, most of these political parties should also realize that how important this situation is, and how they have to look for people who will be uprooted from their land, who have to go through unspeakable miseries and all, and how they should act as one team, just to send a very good message that, that the situation should be brought back to normalcy, and there should be major concerted efforts to make sure that everything comes back to normal, and, a situation could be fine where at least the fault line needs to be buried a bit. I'm saying this, it's not a 1-year-old problem, or it's a new problem, or something which we can discuss in hour and a half or 2-3 hours time. It's a very old, very complex problem which is there in the Manipur. But I think at least a working solution has to be found so that this kind of violence should not be repeated. I think that's the biggest challenge which the government faces right now.
You're right. In fact, let me tell you, since you've talked about the politicking that has started, it is not just the Aam Aadmi Party, it's also the Congress, it's also the RJD. They've all trained their guns on the BJP. They all seem to be linking it to the Karnataka polls. And they've gone to the extent of saying that Home Minister Amit Shah should be sacked, and Article 356 needs to be invoked. There should be President's rule in Manipur, because there has been a complete breakdown of law and order in that state. Karthikeya, bringing you into the conversation.
I mean, the visuals which you are witnessing, Neha, right now on the screen, which happened yesterday, it's a clear testimony to the breakdown of the law and order.
Yes.
I mean, and
doesn't get worse than this.
Doesn't get worse than that. And I think, the bite or the press conference of the DGP which we heard, it was a ringing testimony of what the situation was. If you go by, you analyze his body language and all, he looked absolutely dejected. And, he's like sounding helpless, and in fact, in a way thanking the central government that at least now the army has come in and they will ensure that at least the writ of law will prevail in the state of Manipur. It is otherwise a very, very scary situation as far as the state is concerned.
The top cop of Manipur looked like a defeated man. He looked completely helpless. He looked despondent. But Karthikeya, bringing you back into the conversation, on the one hand, there is all this politicking that has started with many demanding imposition of President's rule in Manipur. On the other hand, both you and Brajesh have made a very valid point. This is a massive human tragedy that is unfolding right before our eyes. Thousands of people who are being being uprooted, becoming refugees in their own land. We don't know when normalcy will return. We don't know when they'll be able to return home.
Yes, and I think more than that, what has happened is, which I think these people were taken by surprise, is the refugee issue. They thought the violence was local, but the violence was not local. The result is that in Manipur, since as you mentioned to our viewers, 11,000 people have been affected. People have taken shelter in the cantonment run by Army and Assam Rifles. That's one. And if that is the reason, if people are taking refuge in the army cantonment, it's a very big problem. Now, the second issue which I would like to bring it to our viewers is that this displacement has taken place all across Northeast. This displacement is in Kachar area, this displacement is in many other parts. It has also affected law and order in a couple of other states. So, Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken with everyone. Now, going back retrospectively, everyone knows that what has happened, because the border is porous. There was a strong anti-narcotic campaign run by Biren Singh. It created a different sort of a political climate in which the Kukis and the Nagas felt that they will be sidelined with extra power or extra benefit goes to the Meitei community. Now, Manipur is traditionally being, I would say, hosted or politically represented by Meiteis. But the larger issue is that now Meiteis, Kukis and Nagas, the conflict has been created in a way in which disruption of civic life has happened. You can have clashes in sporadically in areas, but to disrupt the civil life, the larger work of Biren Singh, apart from ensuring that there is a proper law and order in the state, would be to get these refugees back. India cannot create permanent refugee camps for its own people. It is like Nagas, it is like non-Nagas becoming refugees in Manipur, Kukis becoming refugees in Mizoram, some small Mizo tribe becoming refugee in Tripura, and then small Tripura tribe becoming refugee in Assam. So, India cannot be a place where smaller tribes or smaller communities become refugees, because ultimately, and this shows, the displacement shows that people actually feared for their life. They fled, and it also means that the police was not there to provide security.
Absolutely. But fleeing only means one thing, that they have lost faith in the capability of the state to protect them.
Well, the police could not protect themselves when crowds came to the police station.
Biren Singh did not press for paramilitary forces. Biren Singh, and I have no hesitation in saying that the centre has, taken the step to, impose Article 355 there. Biren Singh could have pressed all the red buttons.
Absolutely.
A month ago, 25 days, he could have pressed all the red buttons and asked for the force, and the force would have been there.